Hey folks, yeah, it's Tuesday morning, it's 10:22 in the morning, and I don't have to work till 6:30 tonight, and I get off at 11. Yeah, and then I'm off tomorrow, if you can believe that. Anyway, I want to talk about something that I think has not really been asked a lot. Now, I'm going to try to do the best I can as quickly as I can with the battery life that I have on my camera. With the battery life I have on my camera. But here's a question that ever since this came to be through a lot of studios, it's something I would like to know from your perspective. What are your thoughts on MOD? Now, if you're someone that's in the media, you know what MOD is, right? Well, the first thing that might come to your mind is movies on demand, and that's true. That might be the first thing that comes to your mind. Or is it? Maybe what comes to your mind is something else. Maybe what comes to your mind is manufactured on demand. Yeah, that's right. Manufactured on demand. They might say, well, what does that have to do with media, Brian? Well, let me explain. You see, it's got a lot to do with media. More than you want to give it credit for. You see, manufactured on demand is something that's been happening for the past few years now, if not a lot. Well, maybe if not a lot sooner, if not a lot. It's something that's been happening for the past few years now, if not been happening, a little before, I should say. A little before. It's something that, when I first heard about it, I'm like, well, what is this about? What does this mean? Well, apparently what this means, folks, and I apologize, that was my dog. Apparently what this means, folks, is if you want a certain product, if you want a certain show, if you want a certain movie on DVD, and even, with some companies, some, movie studio, movie companies like Warner Brothers, or MGM, or Universal, or Sony, or maybe even Disney, that you can also get a movie or a series, depending on how old it is or how recent it is, and how it was filmed. You can even get a series or movie manufactured on demand on Blu-ray. Now, again, you might say, well, what does this mean? Well, it's real simple. Think about it this way. If you have a Sony DVD recorder, like I do, or any kind of DVD recorder of any kind, and we do sell them at my job as a combo pack. Yeah, we sell VCR DVD recorder combo packs. Depending on the brand. I think the one we have the most of is Hunya. But anyway, DVD recorders. Think about it. If you have a DVD recorder, your favorite show or movie or whatever is coming on, and you're going to record it with the recordable DVDs that you have. Yeah, that is what we mean by manufactured on demand. That's what we mean. Now you might say, well, why would we want to pay money for something we can already do? Well, here's the deal. Basically, this recordable this kind of selling, this kind of a, I don't know, it's kind of a, I guess you could say, in-store or mostly online retailing and selling of these kind of things is just as official as you're going to get. You see, basically a lot of companies, a lot of studios out there like Warner, Disney, MGM, Universal, Sony, and what have you, they've all realized that probably in their minds the cheapest way to go and the cheapest way to get people what they want, and even Amazon's in on this, in on this, you know, even a company like Amazon is partnered in on this, where they will manufacture the stuff on demand, and as well. And I think even my job's in on it as well. I'm not really sure, but there are several outlets that are associated or partnered or have made deals and agreements with these movie studios and companies to do this. But what does this mean? Well, again, like I said, to them it's probably the cheapest, more affordable way to go. Because they realize a lot of people want certain things, certain shows, seasons of certain shows, if not the complete show, or certain movies and stuff, or specials. They want to own a DVD, if not a Blu-ray copy of it. But they also, I think in a sense, in a business sense, they also realize that even if they were to sell copies that you could go and buy in a Walmart, or in a Target, or in a Kmart, they're not going to sell as well as they should. So what do they decide to do? They decide, you know what? Instead of just selling them in store, we can make it a lot more easier and a lot more affordable, not only for us, but for the consumer to own these titles if we say, you order it, and it will be manufactured on demand. That's right, it will be manufactured on demand. And again, what does that mean? It means basically you take a recordable, in their case, recordable DVD minus R disc, maybe even a Blu-ray minus R disc, and you record the media that they want, the movie or the show that they want, onto that disc. And then you make it official by putting on a disc cover with a barcode. You put in a slip cover. You put in a DVD cover with a barcode. You say where it's from, what it's a part of. You know, you basically put down who's letting you distribute, who's really distributing it, where it's being distributed. You basically put the works. You basically put the site where you can find out more about it and similar other movies and shows that are manufactured on demand. You have the studio logo on the side and on the back, if you will. Like I said, you have the website, you have the barcode, and you have the, say, if it's part, you have on top if it's part of any kind of series or collection. The reason I say that is because yesterday, as you've seen in my previous video, one of the DVDs that I got in that Amazon.com package opening, and that I showed off in my DVD Blu-ray update, two of my DVDs were Yabba Dabba Doo and Holly Rockabye Baby, the two Flintstone movies that came out in the years of 93 and 94. So, you know, so with that said, basically those two titles were manufactured on demand. In other words, even if they had been officially released as regular DVDs in the past, the only way you can get them now is manufactured on demand. In other words, they are part of what's known as the Hanna-Barbera Classic Collection. And the Classic Collection is basically, a majority of it nowadays is manufactured on demand. You know, and there's a lot of other studios that do that kind of thing. There is. You know, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of studios that do that kind of thing. You know, for example, you want to take a similar situation. Let's take a look at Disney itself, Disney Movie Club. Now we know Disney has exclusive titles that you can only get through their movie club. think of that as kind of like being an on-demand service. Even though they don't use DVD recordable discs. No. They actually use the regular DVDs that they use to distribute movies and shows if they were being distributed in stores. Yeah. I mean, that's how I got DuckTales the movie officially on DVD, was from them. Because that's kind of like an on-demand product, but you can only get it through them. Same thing with Tailspin Volume 3, which I plan to get hopefully by next week. You know, same with the other Gargoyles series. The same with the Goof Troop series, if you will. The only way you can get certain titles of these certain volumes of these shows, if you will, like if Tailspin, you want to complete the whole thing, the only way you can get the last volume is through Disney Movie Club. It's basically like an on-demand service. Very similar to Warner's service, which you could also get through Amazon, and the same with Disney, apparently. You can get through Amazon as well, with whoever buys the product and sells it. But the point is, to a lot of studios, whether you get it directly from them, or whether you get it through an associated partner like Amazon, to them it's a lot cheaper to do and a lot more affordable, because that way they don't have to spend, I guess, in their minds, thousands, if not millions of dollars distributing all these different products, all these different copies of, let's say, the Flintstones, I Yabba Dabba Doo, and Holly Rockabye Baby, or Tailspin Volume 3, or in Disney's case, Tailspin Volume 3, all over the place, and not possibly get a good profit in return. Let me explain something though. But let me explain something to anybody that's listening, to any of those people that do this on-demand service, whether it's Warner's, Disney, MGM, Universal, Sony, to any of you guys. As much as a lot of people like myself appreciate this gesture, and we do, because you're going out of your way to do this. You're going out of your way to either yourselves or your associated partners like Amazon or maybe even my job, Walmart. You're having yourselves or your associated partners go out of the way to basically manufacture, basically record or burn, if you will, the movie onto a blank recordable disc, DVD or Blu-ray. You know, you're going out of your way to do that. You're going out of your way to put the DVD cover on, or the disc cover on, and the DVD slip cover on. You're doing all of that, and we appreciate that. We do. You're doing all that just for maybe one or two people that want to own that movie or want to own that season of a certain show, and we appreciate that. But let me explain something though. You never know if something's going to sell if you in regular retail if you don't try. You're never going to know. You don't know if you don't know, like, if the Flintstone movies of Yabba Dabba Doo and Holly Rockabye Baby were going to sell in stores. If you didn't try, you should have tried, and you'd be surprised. The same with some of your Hanna-Barbera series that you've got on demand, like Hong Kong Phooey and some of the Yogi shows and all that. You don't know until you try. You don't know until you try. And the same thing with you, Disney. You guys don't know until you try. If you try, it happens. If you try, you might be surprised that if you try, it happens.